Section 3, Video 6. Now we're going to start with trinomials, and we're going to factor them by grouping. The first question we'll cover is this one here. Now there's three terms, and we're going to create four terms so we can factor by grouping. Now to do so, we are going to again find a pair of numbers that have a product of something and a sum of something. But the product now, the way we find that changes because we have a number out in front that's not a 1. So we take that times the 5, and that becomes our number. 5 times 4 is 20. And that's the two numbers that give us a product of 20 and a sum of negative 12. That has not changed. Again, there's two variables, so we're not going to ignore any variables in this case. We're going to use them, and you'll see that it is okay. Now, what numbers are factors of 20 and add up to 12? We have 20 times 1, 10 times 2, 5 times 4. Now, 20 is a positive number, which means these factors both have to be positive or they both have to be negative. They can't be different signs, otherwise we end up with a negative product. So which pair adds up to 12? And 10 and 2 do. Now it's a negative 12, so we would make them negative 10 and negative 2, because still the product is 20. What we do with that is interesting. We take 4x squared, and we're going to write now, instead of negative 12xy, we're going to go negative 10xy, negative 2xy, and then plus 5y squared. Notice that the negative 2 and the negative 10 replace the middle term. They are equivalent, but what it does is it gives us four terms now in which we can factor by grouping. So the first one, we notice that they have a 2 and an x in common. Factor out a 2x, you get 2x minus 5y. Next pair, there's a negative in front of this one, so we're going to factor out a negative number. And no number there is no greatest common factor for numbers, but they do both have a y. If I take out a negative y, I get 2x minus, because I'm taking out a negative, switches the signs, 5y. Now again, I know we did okay if what's in parentheses are the same, and they are. So I'm going to factor out a 2x minus 5y, and it's multiplied by what's left, and that is the numbers or the terms that are out front. 2x minus y, and that is factored. Alright, next one. Same idea. We're going to take two terms, the 5 and the negative 6, which will give us a product of negative 30 and a sum of 29. Now the product is negative, which means when I look at our factors, we have, to get a negative answer, we have to have a difference of 29. And the two factors that have a difference of 29 is 30 and 1. We want a positive 29, so I'm going to make the 1 negative. So we take this now and we rewrite it as 5x squared. We're going to go plus 30xy. I'm maintaining the same variables here. And then we have minus 1xy. And you can write the 1 if you want to. And then minus 6y squared. Again, these two terms are equivalent to a positive 29xy. Factoring by grouping now, these two terms have a 5x in common. If I take that out, I get x plus 6y. These two, it's negative here, so I'm going to factor a negative y out, because that's the greatest common factor, which leaves us with x plus 6y. I have the same thing in the parentheses, so I'm going to factor that out, and it's multiplied by what's left. And that is 5x minus y. And that's finished. Now, the last one I'm going to leave because these two do well enough alone. They're seems lengthy, but it's the best way to handle these kinds of trinomials. So this ends Section 3, Video 6.